Greetings, dear viewers, ladies and gentlemen. This is Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Shafar Olako. Thank you so much for joining us. Do stay with us. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and his delegation arrived in Khartoum, Sudan for a one-day working visit. Prime Minister Abiy was received by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, President of Transitional Sovereignty Council of the Republic of Sudan. During the bilateral discussion, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed shared Ethiopia's solidarity with Sudan in the political dialogue process that they have embarked upon, citing the wisdom and ability of the Sudanese people to successfully lead the process without any intervention. The Prime Minister also discussed with Vice President of Transitional Sovereignty Council. In the second meeting held during the visit to the Republic of Sudan, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed encouraged the Vice President of the Transitional Sovereignty Council to tap into the abundant capacity of the Sudanese people in solving their own challenges. At the end of the discussions, both sides gave a press conference, and Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed had said the following. Have a listen to this.
My message for all was a very short and precise. You have a beautiful country. You have very kind, generous, and brave people. My message for all of you is to prioritize Sudan, to prioritize the people of Sudan, and to draw your own solution for your problem. As you know, political, at a time of turmoil and crisis, requires tolerance and compromises. Mr. President, I count on you. At this critical juncture, you will give a very wise leadership to fulfill the interest of the people of Sudan with compromises, tolerance, and focus.
Now, Ethiopia has recognized its active citizens and diaspora organizations who have been instrumental in defending the interest of Ethiopia in the past 2 years, in which the country has been passing through different challenges. The event witnessed the first of its kind award for Ethiopians in the diaspora for their genuine love to their country. Daniel Kasaun has more on that.
The Ethiopian diaspora has been movers and shakers of Ethiopia's issues in their respective countries. It is in this consideration Ethiopia has recognized its active citizens and diaspora organizations who have been instrumental in defending the interests of Ethiopia in the past 2 years, in which the country has been passing through different challenges. Their genuine real love and devotion to motherland Ethiopia has been tested in the past 2 years, where Ethiopians in unison were defending internal and external forces that bent on destabilizing the unity, solidarity, and territorial integrity of Ethiopia. The litmus paper revealed there are really original Ethiopians who devote themselves for the existence of Ethiopia for times immemorial. What conviction and devotions they have shown to the country of origin, being residing thousands of kilometers away. This is Ethiopian uniqueness. Now it is opportune time to celebrate.
You have been exerting tools of efforts to defend the interests of Ethiopia so far. Recognizing the efforts of the Ethiopian diaspora, especially at a time when the nation faced great challenges, has multifold benefit. Defend Ethiopia Task Force across the world has a lot to say in the struggle against all odds of Ethiopia.
Recognizing the efforts of the diaspora by the Ethiopian government would encourage and motivate the communities to stand united in support of the Ethiopian people and the government. The award is said the award motivates them to continue supporting the country in various areas, including diplomacy and advocacy, as well as being the voice of the Ethiopian people.
Ethio-American candidate to the U.S. Congress and investor Mikhail Yadeta calls upon Ethiopian diaspora to participate in shaping the U.S. policy and legal framework to protect their country's interests. Talking to ETV's special program, he stressed that Ethiopians should be actively engaged in Ethiopia's economic and social developments. Jerusalem Batsia has more on that.
Ethiopians, Ethiopian origins, Friends of Ethiopians and Diaspora organizations are contributing significantly towards safeguarding the national interests over the past years, particularly at a time when the nation faced great challenges from Western nations and their media outlets. The contribution of the diaspora community was immense in communicating the effect of Ethiopia and Ethiopians to the world. Talking to ETV on a special program, Ethio-American candidate to the U.S. Congress, Mikhail Adeta, said the diaspora community's role is remarkable.
And I went to salute those Ethiopians, those fought so hard to defend Ethiopia in every, not only United States, but also in Europe and the rest of Africa, even you guys working so hard. And I can never imagine the flock of Ethiopians that came out and say, you know what, we need to defend our country.
Yadeta also reiterated that, apart from diplomacy and advocacy activities, Ethiopian diaspora's role on Ethiopia's economic and social developments should be scaled up.
We have to stand for our country. Our country needs a lot of people, educated people, money and everything. And we have a plan to support Grand Renaissance because there is something called cost-benefit analysis after the project is completed. There is so much need to be done. So we're trying to put some researchers, as I mentioned earlier, that can support the team to continue protect the project that is on to help Ethiopia and even the rest of Africa.
To protect and defend their country's interests, Ethiopian diaspora's participation on U.S. policy and legal issues is critical, the U.S. Congress candidate Mikhail said.
What was going on in terms of supporting Ethiopia from America? I'm Ethiopian American. What can I do either for African American or for Ethiopia? So I said, you know what, let us organize the community and then work alert the Ethiopian community what to do in terms of law. Like you said, some laws affect your family, some laws affect the country. For instance, if we talk about critical theory, like teaching your children in high school, blackness and things like that. I'm against that kind of things. You are a human being.
The Ethiopian government has given commendation for 52 Ethiopian diaspora organizations on Thursday by recognizing their contributions to the national cause that have been made on various occasions.
Welcome back. You're still watching Addis News Hour. Now, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs says preparations are finalizing to host the upcoming 36th Ordinary Session of the African Union Assembly of Heads of State and Government Summit and the 42nd Ordinary Session of the Executive Council to be held from February 15 to 19 in Addis Ababa. In her press briefing she gave yesterday, State Minister of Foreign Affairs Burtukan Ayano said that the National Committee composed of 30 institutions assessed the status of the preparations. The summit will be undertaken aimed at accelerating African Continental Free Trade Area implementation, it was indicated. Now, the Danish Minister for Development, Cooperation and Global Climate Policy, Dan Jorgensen, says his country is very much committed to supporting Ethiopia's move in harnessing its renewable energy resources to sustain its hard-fought gains and achieve its national development. The minister underscored that Denmark is highly known at throughout the world in its renewable energy and generating electricity. Kasaun Chane reports.
Renewable energy research and use are very old traditions in Denmark. That is 67% of the nation's electricity supply is now made up of renewable energy. In order to promote growth and corporate development while enhancing the security of the energy supply, energy savings are pursued for both environmental and commercial reasons. According to Dan Jorgensen, the Minister of Development, Cooperation and Global Climate Policy for Denmark, his nation is consistently committed to helping Ethiopia use its renewable energy resources to sustain its hard-won gains and meet its national development goals.
We have a long-standing bilateral collaboration with Ethiopia on green energy transformation because as I understand it now, around 50% of Ethiopia's population still does not have access to electricity. And of course it is the ambition of the government that everybody gets access to affordable, clean, green power, electricity. And I fully support that ambition, and we want to help as much as we can. We have in Denmark a long-standing experience in renewable energy especially, and in management of energy, electricity.
The ministers that Denmark has attempted to increase its energy self-sufficiency since the global energy crisis of 1973, noting that the first focus was on the development of oil, natural gas resources and the North Sea. The development of Ethiopia's renewable energy sector would be financially supported, Jorgensen said, adding that Denmark is well known around the world for its use of renewable energy and the production of power.
We were one of the first countries in the world that started using wind turbines as a generator of electricity back in the 1970s or something like that. So we have decades of experience in this. So maybe we hope that you can use some of the experts that we have in Denmark that can help. But also, to be frank, maybe you can avoid to make some of the mistakes that we did in our development. Because when you spend 40 years doing something, you make mistakes. But now that you are moving into this area, don't make the same mistakes as we do. Only take the good experiences and take them forward. And of course, we are also willing to, and have been helping financially with supporting this development. So it's a combination of sharing knowledge and expertise and also supporting more directly with the funds.
According to the minister, Denmark views Ethiopia as a crucial partner and the area and around the world in a number of areas of shared interest, noting the relationship has grown stronger over time. It was mentioned that Ethiopia and Denmark established diplomatic ties in 1967.
Now, Ethiopia and the World Bank have signed a grant agreement for improved access to health services and food management projects in order to support vulnerable Ethiopians. Ethiopia's Finance Minister Ahmed Shide and World Bank representative have signed the grant agreement. Shagamat has more on that.
Ahmed Shide, Finance Minister, and Osman Dione, World Bank representative to Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sudan, and South Sudan signed the grants agreement. During the occasion, World Bank representative to Ethiopia said the grant will benefit about 22 million Ethiopians and to provide life-saving health services. According to the representative, the agreement also be used in the rehabilitation work of infrastructure damaged by the conflict.
This project is going to benefit more than 22 million Ethiopians across the nation, including those in conflict-affected areas, but also internally displaced people, providing life-saving health services such as immunization, nutrition services, family planning, skilled birth, antenatal and postnatal care, among other services. But the program will also contribute on rehabilitating the infrastructure which were heavily damaged by the conflicts across the country. This is also going to help better understand the quality of hydrological and meteorological services, improve flood and early warning systems, so we can save life, save assets, and better manage productivity going forward.
Ethiopian Finance Minister Ahmed Shide, for his part, said that the grant given by the World Bank will greatly help to reach out health services to people affected by the war in the northern part of the country.
The grant will be helpful to reach out health services. Particularly, it will be used to rebuild health facilities destroyed by the war and to ensure equity of service provision and a health factor. The grant will also be provided for pastoralists who are highly vulnerable to flooding.
Health Minister Leah Taddese also said that the support will be significant to enhance access to quality health care.
Even if we have invested a lot in terms of improving access and quality, still we have a lot of gaps. So this support will help us, this investment will help us in enhancing the access to quality health care, but also narrowing the gaps in disparities in the different parts of our communities in terms of access to quality health care.
Water and Energy Minister Haftamu Ittefa, for his part, underscored that the support will significantly change the life of Ethiopians.
I believe this $300 million means a lot for us. It will for sure significantly change the life of our people and make our people stable in creating resilient community to utilize our water source.